If the crypto world wasn't going through enough, the fresh spat between WazirX and Binance has put crypto investors in a fresh bind. WazirX is supposed to be one of the largest crypto exchanges by volume and is right now in the middle of a very public fight with its partner Binance. The Enforcement Directorate on Friday, in fact, froze bank assets worth 64 crore rupees of WazirX. This after the central agency conducted raids on the director of the crypto exchange under the Foreign Exchange Management Act. ED has accused WazirX of assisting instant loan app companies in laundering defrauded money through virtual crypto assets. What followed was a very public spat between the WazirX founder and the global crypto firm Binance's CEO, who tweeted asking users on WazirX to transfer their funds to Binance, which sent investors into a tizzy. Now, on the show today, we're going to try and explain exactly what has gone wrong and what it means for the larger picture as far as crypto exchanges are concerned. Ajit Khurana, Bitcoin expert and founder of Reflexical, is joining me now on the show on this, and Satvik Vishwanath, co-founder and CEO of Unocoin, is also joining me on the show. Welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us on the India Development Debate. Ajit, let me begin by just explaining very simply what this fight is all about and what is the impact for account holders.
So the fight really, I think, stemmed from Enforcement Directorate saying that there has been wrongdoing. Money has been remitted. I'm not sure how laundering comes into the picture, but yes, unauthorizedly remitted abroad by Chinese loan apps. And now this charge is so serious that the two parties are saying, you know what, it was not me, it was them. Now, what it does not become clear, and this is because I'm from the industry, there's something I can share with you, is that almost all companies, if not all companies in the Indian crypto business, actually are not one company. There is usually a foreign company which is doing some licensed activity somewhere. Then there is some Indian company which is doing something else. So what CZ and Nishchal Shetty are talking about, that is Binance and WazirX, they seem to be talking about two different companies. While CZ talks about WazirX and abstraction, Nishchal Shetty is making a specific thing that this company is owned by us, that company is not owned by us. For the customers at present, it does not seem like an adverse consequence. I checked with people even earlier this morning, and people are able to make withdrawals. So I think that so far, so good. Unless under PMLA or FEMA, ED just completely freezes everything, I think that customers are okay so far.
I want to understand the part about the structuring of the deal. Satvik, if you could help us with this. There is Binance, there is WazirX, and there is a third company now who runs WazirX's operations in India, which is founded by the same guys who founded WazirX. How do all three fit together?
See, whatever is in India, which is WazirX and the company which runs it, right? So WazirX is a brand. It is a piece of software on the computer, on the mobile phone, and on the servers.
And then there's Zanmai Labs.
Yeah, so that is run by or owned by Zanmai Labs. That's correct, right? So now if the structuring, if it was done correctly, there is actually two ways it can be done. One is selling the business of the entire WazirX to Binance. The other one is transferring 100% of equity of Zanmai Labs to Binance. So these are the two ways it could have done. It looks like both did not complete the way. I mean, it took a third way where partially some of the assets which manages WazirX are given to Binance, but not all of it. And then there was a breakout where the one was not cooperating with the other, and the deal did not complete. So as far as WazirX and its founders is concerned, whatever is required to be given to Binance is given. But on the other side, Binance think that because the transaction is not fully complete as per the papers, they never own the equity of the Zanmai Labs already. So this is where the tricky part is. It is, I would still say it is like partially done a transaction if that is the case, and it has to be done or undone, right? So one of the two should happen to make it go into one particular entity, either to Binance or Zanmai Labs and its owners. So it cannot be the way it is right now. It's in the limbo.
So what does this mean for account holders, Satvik? Because you've had this, CZ tweeting out saying that please transfer everything to Binance. All your account holders, please transfer to Binance. I mean, that puts people into complete dizzy. They're going to be wondering what to do. So how do you see those developments and all of this very public spat on Twitter? Don't you think there should be transparency for people who are stakeholders in this? For people who've put their money or put their crypto assets or investments in these?
Was needed. But sometimes when the transaction is in process and it is struck because of due diligence and such, it's actually difficult to say half done, remaining half is still pending since 2 years. That will not look good. But on the other side, as far as the customers are concerned who are using these services, as long as the intention of both the companies, WazirX or Binance, will not become wrong, I don't see any kind of issue for them. So they continue to work. And obviously right now, all the servers which are with AWS and such, it will continue to run. So I don't really see a issue. But I think CZ's intention is when WazirX is saying it is sold to Binance, WazirX co-founders are saying, and when the transaction is only partially completed, he is just recommending that, okay, if you think that this is confusing, you can move it to Binance. So that, because people till now thought that WazirX is owned by Binance anyway, right? So now moving it to Binance will actually be more peace of mind because at least the confusion does not exist, I think. That's what he's
But we're missing out the whole ED angle in this, right? All of this started because of the Enforcement Directorate's very serious charges. And I think we should focus a bit on that. Ajit, you explained it well in the beginning where you said that now there's trouble in paradise and both the partners are saying this is not my baby, it's yours. Very, very simply put. But I want to come to the charges and to the action taken by the Enforcement Directorate because that is very, very serious and it's a very important sort of development as far as the credibility of crypto assets go. I mean, WazirX is one of the largest, right? And if it's being investigated right now for funneling, loan app funds, and loan apps and fake loan apps at least have caused havoc in this nation. There's no doubt about it. Those are big charges, isn't it? No one's talking about that.
No, in fact, that is the only issue at hand. Frankly, if you look at CZ's post, which actually initiated the conversation, it was really in reaction to ED because his tweet actually mentioned that. What has happened here, I think that if we have to say who is at fault, before that, let us say what was the fault. The fault is that these Chinese apps transmitting money from their bank, keep that in mind, there were no currency notes involved, transferring money from their Indian bank account, got their KYC done on WazirX and sent money out from there. Now, this should not have been possible for them, right? So that begs the question, who was responsible for KYC? Now, that is where CZ said, you know what, this Indian business that is being done by some Indian company, which is with Nishchal Shetty and co-founder. And Nishchal says that is the case. However, this is the reality, etc. So I think that this entire problem about remitting money abroad under FEMA, which is totally governed by RBI and its various ODI, LRS and other guidelines, there has always been a concern that capital flight could be assisted by crypto exchanges. And the crypto exchanges on their part have said, you know what, we are monitoring all the KYC, all the AML as has been told to us and even higher. Hence, we are not at fault. It should be, for example, why were the Chinese apps having bank accounts in India? Why were they doing RTGS and NEFT from bank accounts in India to WazirX? So it has become very messy. And I think that the case, although I can see Satvik saying no, but I think that it has become a strong case for there to be regulations or at least some guidelines, if not
that
regulations.
Case has been there forever. That case has been there for a while and investors today are going to ask for it more than ever because if all of these things happen, are they left holding, the losses with them? No one is responsible. Satvik, you want to come in?
Yeah, see here from as far as my knowledge is concerned, these Chinese companies did not have the bank account itself. They only had private limited companies. And then they created account with payment gateways. And then they were transferring money from payment gateways to the WazirX account directly. Okay, this is where the disconnect was, due to which the banks did not even know that it is happening. Okay. And banks are also called authorized dealers, AD, right? So which are responsible for making sure that if the transaction is going out of the country, it is following the proper rules and regulations, including money laundering and FEMA activities. But that actually did not go through. And that probably is the biggest of the concern here. So it was possible for these companies to just have a private limited company, which is easy to do, and then have a account with a payment gateway, which is also easy to do. So now the money is coming to the payment gateway because of these Chinese loan applications. And then this money is going directly to WazirX, and then it is converting to USDT and going out of the country. So it just went.
Whose money is it? But whose money is it actually down the line, which these Chinese loan apps are funding?
Indians' money. I mean, in reality, that is Indians' money.
Exactly.
That was kind of extorted by these Chinese applications, which went eventually to payment gateway. That went to WazirX, as far as I can read, and then it has gone out of the country. So it's actually Indian. Yeah.
Exactly. The reason I wanted to underline that is to show the gravity of the situation. Now, I'm of course going to come to the question of what happens to those who have accounts and have money, what they should do, but just bigger picture, and Satvik, I'll come to you on that. The big question mark and concern against the whole crypto ecosystem was exactly this, that it can be used to bypass the banking system. It can be used to funnel proceeds of crime in a way that nobody can track. Now, do you think that those who are not very keen on cryptos are going to look at this example and say that, look, we told you so?
See, at the end, any new technology that comes up, it won't come up with regulation. It just have the technology. So then there are early adopters and the people who want to experiment, etc. And then eventually the adoption, everything happens. At the end, if we talk about internet, yeah, it can be misused. If it is mobile phone, it can be misused here as well. So it eventually comes down to what intention and whether this kind of transactions happened with the consent of the exchange, or people just used it without exchange knowing it, right? So at the end of the day, the services provided by WazirX was to convert from Indian rupee to any other crypto, or any other crypto to Indian rupee. If it is as simple as that, it would have been different. But here we are talking about tens of thousands of crores. So that's what is little scary. So to tell that all of that happened without the knowledge of the exchange itself, and that's where the challenge is, right? So even today, as I can say, there are small transactions that people do from one country to one country, but obviously the intensity of it, and especially given that the money belongs to that user itself, is not of a bigger concern, given there is LRS scheme also, and the number of people who can remit more money than LRS is in terms of like 0.01%. It is like 250K, which is about 2 crore rupees today per year. So not many people can even think of that kind of money. So that's not of a biggest of the concern today. But here, yeah, it depends upon what was the intentions as well, and what was known, what was not known. So it has to come.
Ajit, question for users, for account holders. What do they do right now? Should they start moving out of the space of their accounts in WazirX? Then there's a statement from the company saying that there is no issue at all, everything is fine. But what would be your advice to viewers?
So innumerable, by innumerable, I mean at least 30, 40 of my friends have sent me the same message asking me, what are you doing? What should we do, etc. So the cause for worrying that you may not get your money, I think that is underlying the question.
Yeah.
That cause I think that is not a very big worry, primarily because had this been a case of an over-leveraged borrowing or lending activity, as has happened with many other exchanges, that was a different situation. Here, we can see a freezing of assets beyond the 64 odd crores. It could be that they could just say, just freeze every damn thing, or even issue a notice saying, don't even allow crypto withdrawal. ED has the power to do that. That would delay matters. I think that the risk of loss is negligible. But one very important point that I think has been missed in this discussion, and ED has mentioned it in their letter, is that when money was transferred, that is, crypto was transferred from WazirX to Binance, it was done off-chain, which means it was done in their private books of account, not in this gloriously verifiable blockchain, which is transparent. I think that also is something that account holders should pay heed to, that if you are remitting money from any location to any location, I would say this is true about INR also, but let's restrict it to crypto. Please do it in a way that is transparent so that you are not seen as hiding anything.
Do account users, account holders have that much of information, knowledge and ability to make that distinction?
So I think that I will, bring Satvik in on this, but according to me, the only exchange in India where doing this, namely transferring money abroad without it being recorded on a public ledger, the only one is WazirX, to the best of my knowledge. Satvik, is that correct?
That's right. That's what I am also aware of. Yeah. So, but for others, when they do it, they are doing it on the blockchain, which is transparent.
Yeah. So, which is why I, for example, was very surprised as to why did these Chinese apps use WazirX? Why not like so many others, right? As in they could potentially have done this with others. I think this may have been the reason that encouraged them, but that is conspiracy theory, to be honest.
No, it still comes down to the core question that we raised. Where is the regulation? And who is the regulatory body? I mean, is the idea, till you are allowing this to happen and letting people, ordinary Indians, open accounts and trade in this asset class, you have to make sure there is some oversight, which is sorely missing. Then you'll keep having situations like this. Don't you think that's the need of the hour, Satvik?
I definitely think so. See, for example, when it comes to banks, there is something called suspicious transaction reporting. Okay, let's say if the similar thing was given to us as well through RBI, where they say that if there is a company which is transferring more than 2 crore rupees worth of USDT or anything else to any private addresses, it should be reported as such. It would have happened. So I mean, in this way, it could be KYC norms as well, or it could be anti-money laundering. So, but we actually do take care of most of whatever is possible. But beyond a particular point, to get someone involved, just so that we inform them that I'm seeing something suspicious, that won't exist today. So if that is also provided, it will be much more, I think, straightforward, I think. So from my knowledge as well, most of the exchanges make sure that the INR coming in and going out is only through the bank accounts. And everyone is following most of the KYC regulations, KYC norms, like pretty much how the bank does it. So those are quite aligned, I think. The regulations, of course, are required, at least as far as customer protection are concerned. So, for example, when I have money in the bank account, and if the bank, some wrong host happens, then RBI will come in and help the holders. But here, no one actually would come. It's just a complete trust that the customers have. So that, and then advertisement norms. So that is like one thing. So what to tell, what not to tell. One can become more aggressive than the other, and you eventually start giving false promises. So that should not happen. Yeah. And the grievances of the customers. So I think for these things, the regulations definitely help. But as of now, we don't have it yet, right? So it's not that we are against it. We actually would love that, so that we can do our business in a much more straightforward manner and be completely transparent to our customers and to authorities. But it is the need of the hour. I totally agree.
Well, one of the big players now has a cloud and a question mark upon it, and that's a worry for the entire ecosystem. Thank you so much, Ajit Khurana and Satvik Vishwanath, for joining us on the show and helping us break down and understand this very big development in the crypto space.
Thank you.